So hi everyone, today I want to show you why I think you should be investing in property, and I want to show you a little bit about me and why I invest in property. So welcome to the Property Investors with Abi. I'm Abi, and over the next 12 weeks I want to show you how to become a buy-to-let property investor. So buy-to-let is where you buy houses and you've just put normal tenants in them, and then you gain from the income that comes from them houses. So in today's episode, I want to introduce you to me, where I live, my house, and everything to do about why I got started in property. So like most of you, I was a good girl at school. I worked really hard. I went to university. I got a corporate job, and then I was sort of in corporate life, working hard, 9 to 5, raising children. But like most of you, my money at the end of the month would go. I'd spend my money on different things, holidays, clothes, cars, and I never ever seemed to have enough money. And it wasn't until I really worked out that the reason for that is I was constantly trading my time for money. And a salary is never enough when you're giving your time. So I found a different way. So I got into property investing. Now I have properties that make me money, that enable me to have the lifestyle that I want to have. I don't have a massive extravagant lifestyle, but it's little things. For example, I didn't have to save for my kids' holiday this year in the summer holidays. I could book a really nice all-inclusive hotel and take them. I don't have to save for Christmas because my properties are putting money into my bank, which means I can just buy my children what I want for Christmas and treat my family. And it's just those little things that make the difference. So that's what I want to help you get started with. So my journey with property started when I was a little girl. I grew up with a single mum on a council estate, and it was me and my two brothers. Now, my mum was an incredible mum, and we got everything we needed and support, but what we didn't have was a lot of money in our house. And I grew up thinking other people just had lots of money. And I can remember when my mum used to walk me to school, I was always looking at the houses and looking at different houses and what I'd like to live in. We also played a lot of Monopoly with my mum, and I really got into buying houses, upgrading them for hotels. So it was a dream really from when I was a little girl. I then went into corporate life, like so many of us do, and got dragged into what we call like the rat race, just working and working, spending weekends tired from working. And then I met Paul and Anna Smith, and I went to work with them to open an estate agency in Doncaster. I took a massive step back from my salary at the time, but I just knew I wanted to do property, and I knew I just needed to learn, and I wanted to understand how it worked. So I went to work with Anna and Paul. And then over the last 4 years, I've started to build my property portfolio, which I've absolutely loved because I love houses and I love property and I love people. And we always say property is a people game, so this is just what really appeals to me. So I have 2 little children. I have Thomas, who is 7, and Ellie, who is 4, and I love them and they're my complete joy. And I'm slowly helping them and showing them property and what mummy does. So this is Joan Education, where I work in Doncaster. It's about 5 minutes from my house, and we train people how to invest in property and become wealthy through property. So I love it. It's crazy busy. I get to work with Paul and Annika, who are phenomenal people, and everybody we work with, all the team members are fabulous. So I'm really lucky. I previously worked for BT. I was a senior call centre manager, so I looked after at my peak about 400 people. And I really enjoyed it, but it was corporate world, it was 9 to 5, and it was never going to make me wealthy or give me the freedom that I wanted. So I am a property investor, and that's what I describe and tell everybody that I do all the time. So my property portfolio consists of about 5 buy-to-lets that I have mainly in Yorkshire. And all I have is I've bought the houses, I've got tenants in them, and they just generate me income every month that hits my bank without me having to go to work for that money. So they're really good. And I've spent this last year building them and learning all about buying them, doing them where you buy them, you refurb them, and you pull all your money out. So some of my houses have got none of my money in, some I've just left a deposit in. I also have holiday lets, which in the property investing world we call them serviced accommodation. So I always like going away on weekends away, visiting the UK, visiting Spain, and I worked out using it's called rent-to-rent serviced accommodation strategy, that I could have holiday lets where I wanted that would make me money, and then I could go away with my family and take the kids there. So I've got 2 cottages in Bakewell in the Peak District, which I love, and I love going to them. And I've got a townhouse in the centre of Whitby. So they make me money because guests go and stay in them, and then I also get to go whenever I want to go and stay in them. The problem is my accountant says that if I weren't in them all the time, I'd probably make more money, but you have to live, don't you? So my property portfolio is just under £1 million at the minute, and my next purchase, which should go through before Christmas, should take me over £1 million. So I've got a portfolio of just under £1 million, and it makes me around £2,500 to £3,000 a month. And that's what property can do for you, because I don't have to work for that £2,500, £3,000 coming into my bank. If tomorrow I stopped working, if I got ill, or if something happened to me, I would be financially secure because I've got that money coming in. And it's the little things, isn't it? Like I was saying earlier, being able to not have to save for Christmas, not have to save to take my children on holiday, being able to think, like right now I'm thinking, I'd like to go away in January, because January is that time of the year, isn't it? I want some sunshine. I won't have to save for that because I've got the money from my properties hitting my bank. And that's the most powerful thing about property investing. It gives you the freedom to be able to do what you want to do. So this is my house, and this is where I live in Doncaster, South Yorkshire, with my 2 children and Gordy. And the reason why I moved into this house is because it gives me a home office, so I get to do all my property investing in my very own dedicated room for it. So I want you to come into a journey with me. I want you to be part of my journey for the next year while I train you on different aspects of property investing, and also over the next 12 weeks where I show you how to invest in just normal, simple, buy-to-let houses. So what I want you to do is I want you to do 2 things for me. The first one is I want you to register your company on Companies House, because we don't buy property in our personal name, we buy them in companies, because it's less risk for you, and it's also tax efficient. You then need to go to a bank and open a bank account, a business one, for your company, and that's really the basics of what you need to get started. The second thing I want you to do for me is really think about what you want and what your life to be. Like mine, with my houses and my properties and my holiday lets, I want you to think about what you ideally want. What money you need to live on each month. What is it, would you like £3,000 per month coming in like I have? And I really want you to think about these things to get us ready for next week's episode. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, find out about all of me and seeing where I live and a little bit of insight into my life. This is video 1 of our 12-week series, and it's getting you started as a property investor. Now we're currently running a fantastic competition, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because as soon as we get to 5,000 subscribers, we're going to be picking one lucky winner who's going to win a Touchstone Education course, and they're worth, the courses generally are worth about £3,000. So if you would like to win a course and come spend a few days with me, hit the subscribe button. Tune in next week to find out all about the #1 reason that stops people property investing and what you can do to overcome that. If you've really enjoyed this episode, leave me a comment. If you've got any questions, just question below this video, and I'll see you next week.